Arsenal with the perfect reaction to exiting Europe, destroying the Eagles at the Emirates Stadium, scoring 4 goals to stay top of the Premier League. So from Arteta's unstoppable tactics to a star performance from Bukayo Saka and breaking even more records. Let's break it all down next and discuss the 3 key takeaways from Arsenal 4, Crystal Palace 1. Hello, my name is JC and welcome back to Arsenal Analyse Gooners. I know you must be doing well after such an exceptional performance, but more importantly, 3 points in the bag yet again. We've got so much to break down, so please smash that like button if you enjoy and subscribe if you're new to the channel. As we're so close to 2,500 subscribers, I'd massively appreciate it. Arteta's tactics unstoppable yet again, this time Crystal Palace on the end of a hammering from the Arsenal, and the match stats really do paint a picture of how things unfolded in this fixture. Arsenal enjoying 62% possession, 70 final third entries, 27 zone 14 touches and 48 progressive passes. Just some of the stats that went in Arsenal's favour that ended up leading to such a dominant performance at the Emirates Stadium. And looking at the field tilt, although for those of you that did watch the game, it did seem like Crystal Palace enjoyed some good possession in the first 25 minutes and even creating some good chances in the process. Arsenal's patience, possession and dominance as the game progressed was just too much for Crystal Palace to handle. Arsenal managing to score 2 fantastic team goals in the first half, really killing off this game. But where the nail in the coffin really came was at the beginning of that second half, where Arsenal managed to score a third. At this point of the game, even though Crystal Palace did manage to get back in with a goal of their own, the game was gone at this point. And what played into Arsenal's hands was the shape that Palace decided to go with. Other teams have enjoyed success against Arsenal when playing a 4-5 at the back with a 4-5 just in front, very narrow and compact, forcing Arsenal wide and doubling up on their wingers. And although in this picture we can see similarities, the problem came from Zaha and Analyse not tracking back and allowing Arsenal all of that space out wide, giving the likes of Saka and Martinelli the opportunity to run at their man, getting in and behind. And this is exactly where that first goal came from. We can see Saka on the ball here, with the ball eventually hitting across the face of goal for Martinelli to beat his man and score in the corner of the goal. Xhaka's goal again just highlights the issues that Crystal Palace had on the day. We can see here Crystal Palace with 4 at the back again, very narrow in midfield, but again you can see here all of the time and space that Arsenal are allowed out wide with the likes of Martinelli, Saka and even Odegaard, who's pushed further out right. But where Crystal Palace's problems really came into effect in this game is when Arsenal grew in confidence and Arsenal started scoring goals. And this is further highlighted in this picture, where we can see a total of 10 players in the Crystal Palace 18-yard box. And this goal is the one that was scored by Saka, the second goal at the end of the first half. And no different to the second goal that Saka scored in the second half. It's like a mirror image, but at the other end of the pitch. Crystal Palace really only have themselves to blame. We can see here 10 Crystal Palace players in the box yet again. The ball comes in from the left-hand side this time, Kieran Tierney, with Bukayo Saka hitting the ball first time. When looking at the average shape of both sides, Crystal Palace, as mentioned, opting for that 4 at the back, 2 in midfield, and then 4 up front, if you will. Zaha and Analyse pushing high and wide for Crystal Palace, trying to push Arsenal's fullbacks back, and then we saw Schlupp, who was probably Crystal Palace's best player in that first 25 minutes, playing alongside Edouard. Arsenal, on the other hand, no real surprises here. We see that usual two at the back, Gabriel and Holding. We see Ben White supporting Bukayo Saka. That box midfield being made up of the likes of Thomas Partey, Zinchenko, Odegaard and Trossard, who was very fluid, interchanging with the likes of Martinelli, and likewise Granit Xhaka, who got forward, making up those numbers in the usual front five that we see Arsenal attacking the opposition. But as I said, these tactics, no real surprises from Arsenal. Crystal Palace opting for something that we haven't quite yet seen this season, but as mentioned, very much playing into Arsenal's hands, and that's why it ended 4-1. I think most football fans can agree that Arsenal have been absolutely exceptional this season. And when everything falls into place, like it did today against Crystal Palace, we see some absolutely fantastic team goals. But what's better than that is when we see the individual top-notch performances that we saw from the likes of Saka and Ben White. But more on that in just a moment. There's one player that I do want to speak about very quickly, and that's Rob Holding. Many Arsenal fans, from what I saw online, said that we would struggle. He would be the reason we dropped points against Crystal Palace today. And boy, did he prove his doubters wrong. An absolutely solid performance alongside Gabriel, winning 11 duels, 70% success rate aerially, 90 success rate ground duels wise, completing 100% of his long duels, 5 out of 5. I think we should put some respect on his name. And another top-notch performance from the likes of Granit Xhaka, who is enjoying his best goal-scoring season to date with Arsenal. That's 6 in all competitions, 11 goals and assists across the season, which is the first time that he's had more goals and assists than he has had yellow cards, which is 8. So make of that what you will. But into some key performances, we could quite easily sit here and talk about how well the likes of Martin Odegaard played, Martinelli, Trossard, among others. It was great to see Gabriel Jesus back in the lineup, slowly creeping into maybe a starting spot after the international break. But let's start at the base of where Arsenal build. Ben White. Is he the reason that Bukayo Saka had another absolutely fantastic performance? And his stats do not lie either. 66 touches, 25 final third passes, 9 of those passes into the final third, winning possession 6 times, 5 touches in the opposition box, 4 passes into the opposition box. But it wasn't all about what he did going forward. Defensively, solid. 3 clearances, 3 interceptions, 2 crosses into the box, 1 through ball, an assist, and not one Crystal Palace player managed to get past him on the day. And I saw so much in the build-up to this game as to whether or not Ben White would be able to handle Zaha. I think that box has been firmly ticked. But what about the player that was in front of him? Someone called Bukayo Saka. An absolutely top-notch performance from the young lad. He keeps impressing week in, week out, improving week in, week out. And his stats, just like Ben White's, absolutely top stuff. 55 touches, 2 goals, 2 shots on target out of 3 with an XG of 0.27, an assist, 3 key passes, and 23 successful passes out of 33. And I think it's definitely safe to say that he was Arsenal's main man on the day. And he is now Arsenal's youngest ever player to reach 10 goals and 10 assists in one Premier League season. The last person to do it was Alexis Sanchez, and the last person at the youngest age to do it was a Cesc Fabregas. And across Europe, he is impressing even more as well. He's in great company with the likes of Neymar, Leo Messi, and Rando Kolo. As mentioned, the first player to do so since Alexis Sanchez all the way back in 2016-17 season. And he is now third in the Premier League for goals and assists combined, only behind Haaland on 33, Kane on 23, Saka currently sitting on 22. Some impressive numbers there. Will he finish second just behind Haaland? We'll have to wait and see. Arteta's Arsenal continue to set and break records. Each weekend in the Premier League, it feels like we're talking about something new. This time against Crystal Palace, Arteta has set a record with his first 6 consecutive wins as Arsenal manager against the likes of Aston Villa, Leicester City, Everton, Bournemouth, Fulham, and Crystal Palace. In the process, Arsenal have become the first English football team in history to win 9 London derbies in a single campaign against Fulham, Spurs, West Ham, Brentford, Palace again, Brentford, Chelsea, Spurs, and Fulham. Now that doesn't make for bad reading. And you know what else looks good? Arsenal have already equalled their points total compared to last season. That's 69 points despite having 10 finals to go before we hit the end of the season. And Arsenal managed to do the double over Crystal Palace, home and away, for the first time since 2017 when Arsene Wenger was in charge. And last but by no means least, one that really did surprise me is Arsenal have never lost a game when Martinelli has scored. Arsenal winning 23 of the 26 games that Martinelli has scored in first, the other of which ending in a draw, sitting joint with the likes of Lee Dixon, Perry Groves and Ray Parlour, edging them just on the amount of wins. Arguably, maybe Perry Groves and Ray Parlour could be in with a shout as well. But as mentioned, the records keep racking up. What will Arsenal do next? So that's going to wrap things up for this video. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and subscribe if you're new to the channel. That was 3 key takeaways from Arsenal 4, Crystal Palace 1. A huge reaction from the lads after crashing out of Europe. Going into the international break, 8 points clear of City, still sitting top of the Premier League after a dominant display at the Emirates Stadium against Crystal Palace. That's 10 more finals to go. Stay safe, take care, and come on you Gunners.